I'd like to call the Municipal Audit Committee to meeting to order, and we'll start with introductions and we'll start again.
I'm Nan Steele, I'm the controller for Illinois.
And I'm Michelle Drew. I'm the partner with Makanda Control.
Lucinda Mahoney, CFO.
George Vacalis, Municipal Manager.
Oh, L.V. Gray Jackson, Audit Committee Chair.
Barbara Jones, Municipal Clerk.
Mike Chadwick, Internal Audit.
Peter Roskins, Internal Audit.
Thank you. And the purpose for this meeting is a contract requirement. The contract requires that by October 31st, and so we're a little bit late, October 31st, that we get together with the auditors and they provide us with a work plan, which happens every single year before the audit begins. And that's the purpose of our meeting today, and so I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay.
Michelle.
I have just a little brief agenda I'm going to send around, and I am not going to go through this in great detail, as you're all quite capable of reading, but just a few key things we want to touch on today. Again, as Elvie said, the purpose of this meeting really is a compliance with the contract requirement, but it's also a good opportunity just for the auditor and the audit committee to kind of have a quick one-on-one face-to-face, make sure everyone knows everyone, and to kind of open that initial two-way communication. As you know, the audit firm is required to be independent of the municipality, and we believe that we are that. There are certain limitations on,
Sorry, I was just looking for an extra.
Here,
sorry.
pick it up, Mike.
No, there was an attachment that was.
Sorry.
Oh, because that's what's
That-
no, the agendas, if you could please. No, that's only one.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Is this what you're looking for?
Thank you.
Okay. I didn't sign it because I wasn't quite sure what we're
Thanks.
doing. So we are required to be independent, and there are limitations on what we are allowed to do. So the municipality's job is to prepare the financial information, and our job is to audit the financial information. Again, a reminder that materiality does play a role in audit processes. We certainly can't reperform every transaction that has occurred throughout the course of the year with the municipality. If we had to do that, well, first of all, you would need an audit. Secondly, it would be so cost prohibitive, it would be crazy. And for that reason, we do apply the concept of materiality. We use statistical sampling. We use various sampling selection methods on which we base our various test work. One question that does tend to come up on a somewhat regular basis is, well, what dollar threshold is your materiality? And it isn't always about the dollar value. There are both quantitative as well as qualitative factors that go into that materiality concept. So when we make the decision of what we're going to look at versus what we're not, we apply kind of a risk-based assessment to the various accounts and account balances, and the number may be higher or lower depending on how we feel the elements of risk apply to that particular account balance. We will document and test the relevant key controls with respect to internal control processes at the city. We will also be using the work of the internal audit department, and I'm glad to see Pete and Mike here. This is one thing as far as the audit plan that has not been totally finalized. We have communicated back and forth briefly, but it's certainly our hope that Mike will be able to assist us with AWU and MLMP, as has happened in the past. And then if Jay is still available, that he would help us on the downtown portion of the audit. So. And then as far as just the timing is concerned, the second page of the little handout actually spells out the tentative calendar. We do have interim field work scheduled to start in December at the different locations based on the dates on the schedule. The interim field work will focus on test of controls, internal control documentation, and preliminary single audit assessments. And then final fieldwork start dates are in the second column with a kind of a graduated target opinion date schedule. The schedule that you're seeing here this year is very consistent with the schedule that we laid out in the prior year. The only thing that I'm not 100% sure of is the assembly meeting, the assembly presentation date is subject to the calendar as it's established by the municipality, and I wasn't able to find the 2013 calendar for the assembly yet. So I assume that's in process.
It's actually, it's done, we just haven't got it posted on the
Yeah.
website, so
Okay.
we'll get that to you.
Great, and that kind of gives us our target. If we know what the assembly presentation target date is, everything backs up kind of from that point. Again, this calendar is pretty consistent with the prior year. Our ideal calendar would have us presenting the CAFR at the first assembly meeting in June, but to my knowledge, certainly since we've been doing the audit, that's never happened. We've always hit the last meeting in June. So, of course, with the goal of hitting the earlier one, that gives us a little cushion just in case there's some issues on the back end of just wrapping everything up. I have been in contact, of course, met with Nan and Kelly and Pam a few weeks ago, just to go over things that they should be looking at, prepping for issues, concerns that they might have. I did speak with MLMP and AWU as well, and I believe everybody is on board with this calendar. Both AWU, MLMP, and Downtown have all prepared a pre-established, what we call a PVC list or a work paper delivery schedule. And so those are not 100% finalized, but those are well in process, and we do have a kind of tentative plan for that as well. And other than that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. You know where to find us throughout the course of the audit, and we certainly would encourage you to pop in and see us.
And so the engagement letter's in process, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, any questions from anybody? All right, well, couple things. I put on the agenda the audit completion and the charter requirement. We've discussed this at previous meetings because, when the charter was established, of course, 90 days made a lot of sense, but the municipality has grown substantially since, and the audit hasn't been completed in 90 days, and it won't be completed in 90 days. So I think that it's time to fix the charter so that we're in compliance with the charter, because we aren't, frankly. And I'd like some feedback from this committee before I ask our attorney to draft something to take care of this.
So is the reason that we can't do it within is it 90 days or something? Yeah,
90
days. Resources on our part, resources on your part. The cost would be extremely higher if you tried to do it within that period of time. What's the inhibitor? I guess I'm just curious.
Well, okay, so we close the books and then we go into 13th month, which is a month of January.
Yeah, I remember that number.
And we go into 14th.
I remember that one too.
Okay, so the point in time when all the transactions are done being booked is at the end of February. And so then at the end of February, we can actually start reviewing and auditing. And as Elvie pointed out, our organization is around, it's quite large and quite significantly complex. So I would suggest that we make this 180 days, which would be the end of June. And we would have a target to beat that, and that meets the requirements of our rating agencies in regard to bonding.
But from what you just said, though, and I look at, I guess this is right out of the charter, right?
No, I wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding, no, it's right on the chart.
I was going to say, you're good. Because it says here, close of the fiscal year. Now, so if we go to a 13th month and a 14th month and whatever else, we really haven't closed the fiscal year.
Right, well, it's a function of how you would define
Right.
the word fiscal year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the definition
So
is.
it'd be interesting to just see what our forefathers, when they drafted this thing, intended. Is it at the end of the actual fiscal year itself, the day, or is it to close out that we allow ourselves to get everything, in the books?
That's a really good point, George, and I really appreciate it, because believe me, I'm not, gung-ho on bringing a charter change before the voters, especially something that's really not as significant as other issues, but I like following the rules and regulations and laws. I could commence some research, because there's, what's this, November?
Oh, I mean, we can have the legal department do the research.
Okay, good, well, why don't you do that?
Yeah, I can
Have the
ask
legal
them
department.
what this definition, because they'll probably have to go to, when they discussed it and all that, what the intent was.
Okay.
Because the written word is a written word,
Well,
it would be the intent.
Right, and if you could do that.
Yeah.
And get
I'll
back
ask
to,
him
you know, all of us, but in particular me, so that I can get something drafted if
Because if we
necessary.
go to the voters, you never know what's gonna happen when you do that. You know what I mean? It's just, some people will be confused to get the charter changed, some won't, and we may not even get it changed.
Mhm. And I think that if this does go to voters, that we'll be real clear on why it's out there. You know, that it's housekeeping for the most part and nothing substantial. But anyway, I would appreciate
Yeah.
you getting back to it. Okay, and then, anybody else have any comments on this? Okay, and one other issue that's not on the agenda that I wanted to mention was, there was a contract amendment, I think it was last year, and besides the amendment to extend the audit for another year, it was also an amendment to change the requirement for weekly progress meetings. And the way it stands right now, I mean, in the past, there used to be a weekly progress meeting with all the players. Okay, and that worked really, really well, but nobody wants to spend time at meetings if it really isn't necessary. And just a reminder, here's what it says right now. Upon request by the contract administrator, also known as clerk's office in this instance, there'll be weekly progress and conference meetings. So, and it also goes on to say if the meetings are held, let me back up a minute. It also goes on to say that there will be weekly updates of audit progress by email. So in other words, there won't be a meeting unless the contract administrator believes that it's necessary to have a meeting, and everybody will know ahead of time. But we will have weekly email updates. So my point is that going to work? Is everybody okay with that amendment?
From my side, if I could just speak to
Please.
what happened last year. As far as we were concerned, it was very effective. I don't know if anybody feels any differently on that. From our perspective, it was very effective in terms of just saving the time of having a meeting when we are constantly updating our status report anyway. So it's quite easy for us to send that status update out once a week. We did, however, have a breakdown with you, LV, last year because somehow we got a bad email address for you. So even though we did, in fact, send out the updates every single week for the course of the audit, I understood very late in the game as we were holding our exit interview that you didn't receive more than 50% of them, and that was completely just a mistake on our part as far as we had a bad email address.
Right.
So we will make sure we get your correct email address this year.
Thank you, no problem. But that sounds okay with everybody? Leave it like that? Okay. Well, thank you. Well, if any other comments, issues concerning audit that we want to bring up now? Okay, well, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for being here.